about a foot and a half to 3 feet. It is settled in various parts of my city, about 5. Right, U.S. Custom House. The building is St. 4 feet. It's just straight sugar. The statue to your left of the founder of New Orleans, his name is John Baptiste Lemoyne Bienville. We became a city to the world in 1717, but the French had their flags here from 1699. Right now we're on Decatur in St. Louis. The restaurant to our left is Johnny's Po' Boys. The Food Channel ranked that green restaurant the best place to get a po' boy sandwich in New Orleans. You guys call them heroes, hoagies, and submarines. We call them po' boys. Gentlemen, you want a nice New Orleans steak that's not going to bust your wallet? Come here on my left, Crescent City Brew House. Cut that steak with a butter knife and they brew their own beer. You have other choices. You have Root Chris inside the Harris Hotel, Morton Steakhouse on Canal Street, but you want to go to Crescent City. Some of you gentlemen should remember the beer Jack's. It went bankrupt in the 70s. That's the actual brewery on my right, Jack's. And a strong beer. And on my left, that's not a horse, that's a mule. The big mule, that's a mule. Horse ears don't stand like that. This is the street everyone walks down. This is Decatur. So let me show you what you've been missing. On my left, there's a Walgreens. On my right, CVS. CVS new to New Orleans. Came here in 2007. 2005, 2006, after Hurricane Katrina, man, you could shoot a gun, you wouldn't hit a soul. Everyone here on this Saturday, man. Hey, the way the weather feels today, this is typical Christmas Day weather. It's how Christmas Day feels in New Orleans. We do get snow. It will snow like maybe a week before Christmas. Not just that one day. All right, right now we're approaching, we got 2 parts. On the right will be the moonwalk. That's an outside stage. You perform for people that's passing. And on the left is the St. Louis Cathedral Church, the statue of Andrew Jackson. You guys on the right, you should recognize those guys for Showtime at Apollo, America's Got Talent. It's cool. Ladies, it's no stipulation. You just pick a time slot and you perform, you do whatever you want to do. You just perform for people. Literally, whatever you want to do. We're also approaching iconic Cafe du Monde, on the right-hand side. This way you get the beignets, everybody. Fried donuts, square shape, powdered sugar all around. You recommend that place to your friends? Be a friend and tell them do not wear dark clothing. It has a lot of powdered sugar. This restaurant to your left with the open door, 2 Jacks, green restaurant. The second oldest restaurant in New Orleans, oldest standing bar in the southern region. Get your drink for 2 Jacks. Ladies, have y'all bought y'all voodoo dolls yet? All right, let's see what we have here. On the left, with the guys in the street walking towards us, there's Dumaine and Charters. It's a cross street. Now when you go there, it's not a gift shop, it's a museum with a witch doctor in there. He has voodoo dolls, just like on the Walt Disney movie Princess and the Frog. I know I'm not the only one saw that movie. That red building to your left is Central Grocery. That's where you get the Bufalata sandwich. When you guys come out here to know where you are, look for the gold statue on my left of Joan of Arc. That is a beautiful statue for someone that has no relation to New Orleans. I call her Joni on the pole. That's it, man. That's it. That's it. Joni on it, man. Nothing major, man. Nothing major. We're in the back, everybody. We're heading towards the back. If you want to diet for some strange reason, this is the farmer's market. On my left. See those fruits? I get placed there at 9:30 and that's at 1 o'clock. Every day. Some of you guys leaving on a cruise ship. If you haven't bought those last minute souvenirs, this area is much cheaper than the gift shops around your hotels. It's the outside French market. It's open every day, 8 in the morning, 6 p.m. I love this place. You will and deal with the guys. If something costs $5.99, offer the young man $5 flat. They'll work with you. But be strong, because some of those guys are fast. Don't look around. You may get that $10 t-shirt on sale for $13. And that trail runs along the wall to your right. So you don't have to walk here from Canal Street. $1.40 to ride those cable cars. And if you are blessed, we call them camelbacks. Same concept. The government of New Orleans will tax you by the size of the front of your house. So you made the front smaller than the back. Camelback. Because the balcony to the right is over the sidewalk, Spanish influence, Spanish. We switch hands 4 times in my city. French, Spanish, French, then American. Because that brick wall with the open door, the roof is slanted. A historian will let you know that was the slave quarters to catch rainwater off the roof and drink from it. The problem with that, the birds had the same idea. That's how yellow fever is spreading. You know this New Orleans is not Orlando, Vegas, Los Angeles, with new buildings popping up every 2 years. In my city, the older the property, the more value it has. We was born in 1803 by the U.S., but my city history dates back from the 1400s. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be professional. You want the truth? The truth is, in New Orleans, we preserve our buildings by neglect. You can't fix it up, my man, but wear and tear on its own. Speaking of truth, on my left-hand side is a Pepto-colored building. It's Jean's Po Bar Shop. Look at it, young ladies. Take a mental note of that, matter of fact. The food channel rate the restaurant Johnny's Po Bars, the best place to get a po' bar sandwich in New Orleans. That's the restaurant I pointed out to you on St. Louis in Decatur. My name is Henry. I have to give you that information. That's why you have to leave the cab running. Don't laugh, man. Get your food and leave. You're not making no friends. That street was called Rampart. Same way I picked you young ladies up by the Best Western. Rampart went all the way down. See where your hotel is, the Best Western on Rampart? In the early days, that was a real ramp that divided New Orleans from the swamp. So since we crossed over, your eyes haven't deceived you. Things have changed. We headed to the Ninth Ward. It will not be pretty, but you have to see it. New Orleans average, 6 feet below sea level. Your hotel, the Omni, the Astor Crown, the Ritz-Carlton, the Iberville, the St. Marie, the Best Western Landmark. You guys' hotels sits 13.5 feet above sea level. That means the water drain through your hotels by 1.5 feet, but it's settled where we are right now by 5 to 12 feet. Actually 11 feet. This is not the 9th ward where we are right now, folks. It's the 8th ward. Where we going is maybe another 4 minutes from here, maybe 5. Until we get there, all of this is Beverly Hills in California. Hate to make this strong analogy, but you get my point. Population New Orleans, 570,000 people. August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina showed her face bright and early, Monday morning, split the population to 230,000 people. According to the 2010 census, we have 342,000 people in my city, so we are slowly but surely returning. Evidence of the population split down the middle, schools on your left that's boarded up. Our school board system was not good. The city's now turning our schools into apartments and condos. My city was not supposed to be the size, but the Mississippi River was bringing in people from all over the world, but New Orleans was second to New York for imports and immigrants. When I'm watching those TV shows, twins, property brothers, brothers versus brothers, buying and selling, they refer to homes as bungalows and railroad flats. We call those same homes in New Orleans shotguns. A shotgun home is when you open the front door, you open the back door, you shoot a gun, it goes straight through. These are shotgun homes on your left and right hand side. I have a lot of young ladies on this bus. You should have heard about our burial practice. We bury above ground. We ask you ladies when going into our cemetery, go in with someone, because once you're in our cemeteries, you're not seen from the streets. On my right is one of our cemeteries. This is St. Vincent. And wall placed around the cemeteries, hoping to keep yellow fever disease in. But that wall is now a liability. You in that cemetery taking pictures, and someone approach you or attack you, you are done. People always come on these city tours and ask me, Henry, what's up with ghosts and vampires? My best advice about a cemetery is not the dead people you have to worry about. That yellow home to my right is a shotgun home. Because where we are, I'll give the house a value maybe 48,000 to 60 grand. 60 is almost pushing it for this area. Speaking of this area, once upon a time, there was a legendary tram to run through this neighborhood by the name of streetcar named Messiah. Also keep in mind as you're driving, the water level was past your heads and this bus. Some of you guys have cameras on your laps. Turn those cameras on. There's a shot on your right hand side you have to take. Your families won't believe it. All right, everybody. On your right, there's a metal street pole with brown stains. That's where the water soaked this neighborhood for 4 days. But you saw this, everyone. You're now watching Days of Our Lives. You're watching CNN along the world. And water did not drain on its own. We took big generators, about the size of this bus. 3 feet hose pipes, miles in length. The Army Corps engineers stretched the pipes through the streets of New Orleans. And they started sucking the water out the city. Once the water was sucked out, a major task was at hand. National Guard, military, your family, friends. They came to my city full force, and they checked for my people. Doors kicked down these homes. They went through it thoroughly, one by one, like the green one to the right. They found no dead bodies of animals. That's the small yellow circles by their black mailbox. The base circle is TFW, home flooded past the ceiling. NE Northeast Division of National Guard checked the property. At the top is 9-14. That's when they entered the house September 14, 2005. Which is 2 weeks and 2 days after Katrina hit. Someone got to that property. Once you're home, the flood up to that magnitude. Everything the inside had to go. Sheetrock, electrical, plumbing. You make it save in plumbing. You have passive plastic, but you could not replace your grandparents' baby pictures. Class rings. The man on my left is 94 years old, all his life he collects instruments. Katrina washed them away, put them all on display. Trumpets, trombones, sax, mics, amps, kick drum, flutes, clarinets. Even the way we do our funerals, the casket outside display. Pass by to come show their respects. Been outside for a minute now. Harry County Jr., Ralph Marcellus. Those boys saw this years ago. They put their money together. And what they did, they built this entire neighborhood on my right-hand side. Everyone on board, I proudly present to you Musicians Village. After Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans musicians all over the United States being arrested, thrown in jail. Not for doing criminal activities. It's just what you do in New Orleans, you definitely cannot do where you're from. Something as simple as parade through the streets while the citywide permits. They cause a big fuss in your hometowns. The people that build these houses, Youth America, teenagers, middle schoolers, your family and friends, that's who was here in my city, building homes at a time we didn't have hope. To see those children here is something we all needed. As we drive through these neighborhoods, I do not want you guys to think to yourself, well, Henry, what's going on with these homes? Well, the city is doing, the government, where's the money? The government, the city can't do anything about these homes because the government or the city own these properties. You're looking at homeowners like yourselves, afraid to build their own houses for uncertainty. If you know anyone that has an old car in their backyard, and that car has been sitting around for years, just think about all my neighbors' homes and your neighbor's car. Your neighbor can work on that car whenever he or she choose to because they own it. My neighbors work on these homes you passing because they pay their property taxes, wherever they may be. But people are afraid to build for uncertainty. In Louisiana, it was reported 1,800, 31 people lost their lives. In New Orleans, close to 1,100 people passed. The area town we're in right now, close to 900 people passed. That's the reason why we've been driving past all those homes and neighborhoods to get to the highest death count. If this your first time on this tour seeing this may be your first time on this tour seeing this. Fox News, CNN, those networks did not come out here. It's not that they didn't care, they thought this was a lake. 22 feet of water. It was not a rooftop to wave from. A lot of silver linings emerged from Hurricane Katrina. If it was not for Hurricane Katrina, we would not have an RG3. Robert Griffin III, quarterback, Washington Redskins, Rookie of the Year, Heisman Trophy winning recipient of Yale University. He is from the Ninth Ward, everybody. His family evacuated to Texas and stayed like many other New Orleans families. I cannot comment to you guys about your high schools. I don't know anything about your high schools. But Texas high schools I can definitely talk about. Texas and football is like a religion. If Robert Griffin III, as a little boy, would have stayed in New Orleans with his undeveloped skills, I guarantee you in today's time, no one would know who RG3 is. Right now, we'll be entering the area I refer to as Beverly Hills in California. We'll be back in the 8th Ward. The word ward in the city of New Orleans is the area you vote. You guys use precincts and districts, we use wards. We have 17 in New Orleans. Your hotel's the 4th Ward. We as the people, we use the word ward one step further. We use it to identify ourselves as where we are from. The 9th Ward, the 6th Ward, the 12th Ward. I could be wrong when I say this, but I think I'm right. When you guys are from on this bus, you work in your big city, but you probably live outside the suburbs of that big city. In New Orleans, it's not like that. In New Orleans, you work in New Orleans, you live in New Orleans, period. So in the future, you meet someone, and they tell you they're from New Orleans, and you ask them what ward they're from, and they cannot tell you, well, that means they're not from New Orleans. They probably live around the airport somewhere. Now, since to be honest, some things you've seen so far look like this before Katrina even hit New Orleans. So I do not want you guys to even think to yourself, wow, Henry, look what happened to your city. Some of this looked like just before the storm. All because of one neighborhood. That neighborhood is the Tremaine neighborhood. Tremaine. HBO shoots successful television shows like The Wire, Sopranos, Entourage, Big Love. I like Big Love. They blessed my city with a show called Tremaine. Millions of people watched it, so look out for season 4 on Sunday nights. Actually wrapped up already. The Tremaine neighborhood originally, 2 big plantations, St. Ferdinand and St. John. Both plantations overran by swamps. It was not producing crops. If a plantation cannot grow anything to sell, it's not considered a plantation. Claude Tremaine, a very wealthy hat maker from France, bought the plantations for next to nothing. For him not to lose money like the previous owners, he leveled the land off for individual lots, and he sold each lots to slaves. Slaves in New Orleans had the ability to buy property, freedom. Let the truth be told, some blacks owned slaves, which is very unheard of. When the United States of America bought Louisiana in 1803, the United States had no idea when they inherited the Tremaine neighborhood. One thing for certain, it had to be shut down as a big contradictory to slavery. Also in the United States, we had a dark period of our time. We had Jim Crow laws, separate but equal, separate workforce, schools, newspapers, hospitals. But the problem with the people in New Orleans, everyone came back to live in 2 different countries, French and Spanish. New Orleans government to prove to the rest of the metropolitan cities across the United States they can run this area with an iron fist to strategically place this interstate above our heads. So people started driving above the neighborhood and not through it. So the results is what you've been seeing all around this bus. It dropped economically. This is the same interstate you should recognize my people standing on top of a higher ground. I-10 westbound straight to California, eastbound straight to Florida. You also notice the pork beams on my left-hand side, painted mirrors and colors to commemorate the neighborhood that was torn down to build this interstate. And roughly this area is supposed to be, those mirrors have not been tampered with for decades.
Yes.
There's a young man painting the property on my left-hand side with faces on the front. The name of that property, that is Ernest K. Doe's Mother-in-Law Lounge. That's the Black Indians. That has a lot of history to my city. The main one, when United States of America only had 13 colonies, slaves from the U.S. were escaping from Louisiana. The Indians in this area, Chickasaw and Choctaw, they would dress renegade slaves up, show them how to fend for themselves in the swamps. And when the United States sent the bounty hunters to retrieve those slaves, they couldn't recognize those slaves. They did not know who was who. So to pay respect for Indians, we have black social groups in New Orleans. They dress up like Indians and parade through the street with lavish feathers. They do it every Sunday on Mardi Gras. Sororities, fraternities, we have those in my city. They don't hold that much weight like you guys give them. In my city is what's Indian tribe and Mardi Gras crew you born and belong to. In my city, everyone lives together. Wealthy, poor, famous, middle class, rich, and homeless. White House to my right sold for under $900,000. The yellow one to the right estimated value $2.2 million. But if you look down that street to your right, you're not in Kansas anymore. On my left is one of our high schools. Those kids practice football on that small land. How you compete with other schools you don't have a proper place to practice? That's what I meant by the RG3, Robert Griffin III comment. You guys have beautiful oak trees where you're from, but not like these bad boys on my left-hand side. They're called live oaks, planted by the Germans more than 350 years ago. Those are the type of trees the city of New Orleans destroyed to build their interstates. Now, if you destroy a live oak tree in New Orleans, is a $100,000 fine per tree. You haven't noticed, but every home in New Orleans ceilings is painted baby blue. Look up to your right. It look nice. Give your house contrast. That also will stop birds, insects, mosquitoes from gathering and make a nest up there because they think your ceiling is the sky. If you like that blue, I have more for you. Everyone has green fence around their homes. Paint your fence green. That will stop evil and bad things from entering your house. That's superstitious. What work is that little blue ADT sign that's behind that green fence. What the colors you worry about. Speaking of colors, everyone look to your left. Those colors arrived in my city in late 1700s. You heard about the big fire in Chicago. We had one in New Orleans. The Spanish that owned New Orleans with the Saint Domingue. They recruited free master masons. The masons brought the colors you see. And they also brought voodoo. Everyone in Saint Domingue is now Haiti. This neighborhood we in is Esplanade Ridge. This is an old Creole neighborhood. Esplanade Ridge. Here's another high school to my left. John McDonald High School. John McDonald, a person, investment banker from Maryland, East Coast man. He will vacation to my city, year in and year out. Loved New Orleans so much that when he died, he left enough money for us where we can build 44 schools in the city of New Orleans. But while I was right, he was also egotistical. He had a small clause left in that will. All the schools are named like this. John McDonald #1. Don't laugh, you take people money to do what they say. Your hotel for the Dolphins in St. Marie. Marriott Iberville to the Astor Crown, owned by Creole women. I'll explain that to you too. United States bought Louisiana. They did not honor the women deeds. The young ladies that had money, they took this undeveloped area and they built their home lavish. On my left, coffee shop. On my right, lavish. Nice. There's something on these homes I can only describe to you because they are painted. But yeah, I can. In night one, a lot of the properties we passed look dry rotted. That's just where the wood looks. In New Orleans, our homes are not made out of typical wood, like oak, pine. Our homes are made out of cypress. Cypress only grows in the swamps. Termites do not eat cypress and are resistant to water. That is how my city can be flooded year in and year out, and our properties hold their own. And cypress is Louisiana state tree. I was on the internet last night looking at information. New Orleans internet says New Orleans economy based on oil, true for Louisiana, not New Orleans. Our economy, mom and pop business. You see that greenhouse on your left? That's a supermarket. We passed up so many grocery stores at night war you never noticed because they look like houses. Speaking of the night ward, home on your left, red shutters, night ward, shotgun house. We're in the 7th ward, so that lady's asking $540,000 for the house. And she's going to get it because the yellow to the right is over $1.8 million. Don't be fooled by the front, it goes all the way to the back. One home, one family. Remember folks, it's not the neighborhood, it's a street. I'm serious. If you go a couple of blocks behind these houses, you'll be in Beirut. Here's our cemetery, everyone. Everywhere I'm gonna lock the bus up. We're gonna walk through the cemetery. This is where they calm down a little bit. Our goal is different. We want the body to actually be no more and decompose fast. So we embalm you little. We want you to stick around just enough for the funeral. You guys embalm your body so much it sticks around for years. But y'all know the purpose of that. You don't need a key or screwdriver. Remove any one of these plaques behind is a wall of brick. And we're gonna knock it down and place you in the tomb with a wooden casket. And then we use wood, everybody. We don't spend $12 and $18 and $22,000 on caskets. But y'all know why y'all spend that much money. And once you're in this tomb and sealed up, this your oven. We're gonna allow you to bake here. Some people say slow roast. But you have to be in the tomb. And the time, a year and a day has to pass. And when that time passed, we have the green light to come back to this tomb. And we're gonna remove your casket and open it up. You look the same from a distance. That's the crazy part. You can walk up to the body and just touch you, poof, you go to powder and cell cremation. See the clothes you're wearing, that bag you're holding, you bundle your remains are probably size your clothes probably size your remains would be at that particular time. And the young men, the caretakers, are gonna take your remains and push you in the crevice. And there you're gonna dissolve completely. Now what I said was smooth and professional, but what y'all heard was rough. You know, we got a guy that work here, you see you looking at him and videotaping him while he do that process. He go old school. He picks up a 10-foot pole. He do a lot of antics with it. Then he jam your remains back inside the tomb. That's where the world famous phrase, I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole came from. Man. Yeah. Now today's time they put gloves on and they push your remains in the crevice. And I'm sorry, man, I keep saying crevice. Everybody, it's just a hole, 2-foot hole, open dirt. For marble slabs, that's a crevice, man. That's where your remains go after a year and a day. A year you're disease-free, wait 1 day to pull you out, that's out of respect. We don't want to do that the day you was buried. Year and a day. Trying to make a little sense. I was telling you guys about house prices, so I know y'all wondering how much one of these tools could set you back for. Roughly about $47,000, $53,000. It's a bargain, man. Jump on that. It's for you, your mom, like a timeshare. Think about it like a timeshare for your whole family, everybody. Now we got a nice little fixer-upper behind you. Put some money in that and sell it. You flip that real easy, man. It's y'all first time here. Let's not just stand in one spot. Let's walk around. I want to show y'all. That's funny what I said. Solid marble. I watched them put this tomb together 3 years ago, everybody. I watched them put this tomb together 3 years ago. This pretty tomb looked like that old beat up one you walk past. Yeah. You that buy houses, flip that house, flip that tomb. You can do that, yeah, man. And you don't have to buy nothing used, sir. We'll start a new road from the grass you're standing on. We have new families moving in the club. Just carrying it on. Let me also need to put something here. I don't want y'all to leave it here and think we can't afford to buy it. 50 grand is a lot of money, and everybody don't have it right now. This is a big cemetery. You can buy a tomb in this cemetery for $25,000 to $13,000 in the middle. Because it's so big, if you go all the way in the back, we got tombs for $10,000 and low as $2,800. They're not marble or granite. They're brick and concrete, cinder block. But they do the same thing. These tombs are affordable for every family. I'm sorry, man, I'm running my mouth. You guys have any questions? All right, man. Good man, we out. Young lady?
Nobody is cremated.
Oh, cremating something new. started cremating in the 60s, late 60s. Recognize the name, sir. Young lady, that is Chef Paul Poudon. That's the heavyset chef from the Food Channel. PBS, lost all the weights in the wheelchair. You have a dynamite restaurant by your hotel, name on it, called Cape. It's a Zatarans tomb, everybody. Zatarans. This is our flagship behind me. This all priests. 450 grand. None in the back, priests up front. Not my room. Check out them, man. Those are $200 flower pots without the tree. You put that on the front of the tomb without putting names on the front. You put names on the front, you keep running out of space. I picked up a lot of you guys at After Crown on Bourbon Street. It was a very expensive restaurant. One Adrian, that's Two Jacks restaurant. Second oldest restaurant. Hey, the one I point out to you on Decatur Street. That's their family tomb. Make sense now? Name, location, material. You ready for this, ma'am? Watch your step coming down, ma'am. Come see the Mickey Mouse tomb. It's probably been a while since you saw a Mickey Mouse cartoon. It's one of the characters, Toodles from Mickey Mouse. Oh, Toodles. Come this way. Y'all ready, man? One. Your wife will be ready. Yeah. We got people in New Orleans that design tombs, construct tombs. Matter of fact, you don't have a place to place your relative? We got people in New Orleans that lease you out one of their spots till your place is ready. That's where life was, folks. Nothing more, nothing. I do not want you guys to think to yourself, well, Henry, this area had all this water, and these homes look nice. What's the deal, Henry? The deal is a lot of people only restore the outside of their homes, not the inside. Whereas in Ninth Ward, people only restore the inside, but not the outside. I know that's a crazy trend, but that's what's going on. You living in Maryland, and you own property. That's not new. Look at the rust on top of it. It worked, but it's not new. That's one of 60 stations. That's the stations you guys heard after Hurricane Katrina stop pumping because the workers abandoned their post. Can't say I blame them. That was a tough situation being at that time.
They had boats there in case they could get out. Yeah, need to get out. That's what they need to have. They didn't have Coast Guard back then.
Everyone on board, we out of New Orleans. Now we back in New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina took the entire late puncher train on my left and jammed it down the throats of New Orleans on my right. That wall was flowing over that wall like an overflow bathtub. See, people think the levee broke. That levee didn't break. That wall dropped like dominoes 450 feet. And the entire lake went into my city.
So it was fun to train, huh?
Look at the white ruler to your right, everybody, with the black dots. You had to swim through that. And that was not Michael Phelps Olympic water. The government has enough money to raise every property in New Orleans. About 5 to 12 feet. It's free, costs you nothing. You'll never have to worry about a drip of water again in your life. But since you've been driving, you have not seen houses raised up. The reason why you haven't Because people in New Orleans don't like the outcome. People in New Orleans are more worried about appearance and safety. Everyone on board, all by right. You draw your own opinion. Yeah, it's top heavy.
He took the rest of his money to lose the house.
That guy's flood insurance may be $160 for the year, and he may only need flood insurance. But look at this new subdivision on your right. They're building houses like nothing ever happened. To live here, your lot will cost you $188,225. The cemetery to your left, Greenwood, goes on and on. Now we got that out of the way. I want y'all to focus on the right-hand side. That's the M-O-N-E-Y cemetery. Popeye's chicken owner Al Copeland is that cemetery. Ruth Chris, the steakhouse lady, is that cemetery. Get ready, guys. On my right. This is not a church. This is not an office. That's a single person walked into and constructed. Spanish-style roof, bell tower, 30-year roof shingles, $6,000 palm trees, with a castle moat around it. Built the land, they could have went 20-year roof shingles. They went 30 years. Blue billboard to your right has a red 52 on it. That's for Louisiana Mega Millions. When you get off this tour bus, go and buy you a lotto ticket. By the time it plays, some of you guys will be home.
They want to be able to touch it.
But who knows? You may win. And if you do win, remember who told you to play that lottery ticket. Yeah, show some love. And the Superdome. I'm sorry, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We don't like the name Mercedes at all. That's the same Superdome you guys should recognize falling apart before your eyes during the Katrina coverage on CNN. The Superdome, built in 1971, with 72 seasoned New Orleans Saints. Super Bowl winning Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that mean? Who that's gonna beat those Saints?
Baltimore!
And in the beginning was everybody. We was known as the Aints. We used to go to games with bags on our face. You remember that? That great building to my left is a smoothie kit center. Believe it or not, we have an NBA basketball team in town called the Hornets. Some of you guys may recognize them, the Charlotte Hornets. But back in the day, we had a team called the New Orleans Jazz. Now you call them the Utah Jazz. And now it should make sense. But the Jazz in Utah do not make sense. Yeah, we want our name back. New Orleans Saints owner Tom Benson bought the Hornets last year for $500 million. His gift to New Orleans, a name change. They had a big press conference. Everyone was glued to the TV. You're in New Orleans, the city between Orleans Parish. Superstar Ellen DeGeneres is from Jefferson Parish. If you ever seen the show Lawman, where Steven Seagal, the actor, was a cop in Louisiana, that was Jefferson Parish. The show was a big success, but networks had to shut it down due to Steven Seagal extracurricular activities offset. He tied a woman up in his movie trailer while he shot the rest of the scenes. He ain't nothing wrong with it, but he claimed she was number one fan. You guys eat fast food in New Orleans. But on my right, our Popeye's chicken tastes better than your Popeye's chicken. Bonafide, baby. Ladies on my left, this Emerald Lagasse restaurant. Del Monte's. I was on several episodes of Top Chef on the Bravo station. Emerald Lagasse is not from New Orleans, everybody. He's from a small town outside of Boston named Fall River. Ladies, we're off the beaten path right now. We're on St. Charles Avenue. You come out here and get lost, look up in the trees on my left. and follow the Mardi Gras bees hanging on the power lines and the trees back to your hotels. We on the parade route. Mazarin, Best Western Landmark, St. Marie, Astor. Your hotel's too small for the French quarters. Those parades come from this area. Those Mardi Gras beads are once real necklace. When Mardi Gras became public, less expensive items were being thrown. During Mardi Gras, those beads were more than money. The more lavish your bead is, someone would do something for it. But truth be told, you don't have to wait for Mardi Gras. You see that tonight on Bourbon. Mardi Gras colors: purple for justice, green is fakes, gold money. Mardi Gras basically get all the mischief out of your system before the Lent season. The base of Mardi Gras is. You guys look like home, paint y'all ceiling blue on the right. Give a nice clean look. That blue ceiling. United States, Louisiana. Actual Sandra Bullock lived in this neighborhood. When that scandal broke out with Jesse James, her ex-husband, all the different mistress, a TV show E! News staked out in front of Sandra home trying to get a view of her and the new baby Louis. Pretty embarrassing, actually. They raised eyebrows. That's when the city came up with these new rules. In New Orleans, we don't have paparazzi. People go around free if they want to. I want you guys to remember where we are, so when you come back out here, you know where to go. My Denver, Colorado folks.
Yeah.
On my left-hand side, big man said red pickup truck with the white SUV. The white SUV is Archie Manning's. Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Archie Manning's at home on the left. The Book of Manning, ESPN 30 for 30. We are first at Britannia. Home on the left with the French flag and the French consulate for New Orleans. My two young ladies from Canada, the Best Western Landmark. Actor Nicolas Cage lives around the corner from your hotel. He lives at 626 Dumaine Street. There's a big wall in front of his cottage, you can't see it. But you probably walk past Nick and never realize that he don't look like a spring chicken anymore. Before his IRS trouble, this was Nicolas Cage's big time mansion on the right. IRS didn't take that. He sold in time for suburban neighborhood for the Americans. That home was right now. We on 4th and Britannia. 4th and Britannia. Alright. That car coming towards us on the left-hand side with a little white paper sign sticking up in the ground. That's the driveway to Sandra Bullock home on the left. Her home sits on Coliseum and Fort, and we on Fort and Britannia. The movie Double Jeopardy with Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones. Ashley Judd locked inside of a tomb. That's a cemetery to your left. Boy, you gonna feel like you're in a time capsule. Wallpaper, furniture, fixtures. That's not sheetrock and 2x4s. Plaster wall with a chain fence behind it. Quality. The Garden District got its name. There was a cattle slaughterhouse. The cows are being killed. Neighbors filled their lawns with a lot of flowers to cover up their stench. I don't think it worked, but that's how it got its name. United States millionaires made money off of indigo, sugar, cotton, buy for dollars, sell for $2, build their home lavish. Well, you guys are from in the early days of your hometown, the U.S., and those of you guys that are from the U.S., all you guys basically had was 3 different type of people: white, black, and Indian. In New Orleans, we had 4 different type of people: white, black, Indian, and free people of color. The free people of color, they were the Creoles. They had money and they had land. Some Creoles also owned slaves. That came about to New Orleans. We had something called a quadruple ball. It was not a one-night stand. A young man had to take care of that woman for life and any child shared for him. That is why in today's time there's a lot of black people in New Orleans with French and Spanish last names. Also, those Creole children was not educated in New Orleans. They were schooled overseas in Europe. They can read, write, play music, beautiful music. When you read music, that's called those two separate set of people on the Rampart Street on Sunday, and you mix that broken music with that sheet music. That is how jazz was born in the city of New Orleans. And why, my ladies from Canada, you have Louis Armstrong Park right in front of your hotel on Rampart Street. No government. And you had all those news crews following around like you Warren Buffett. Is where we are. Everyone on board, we back downtown, everybody. We're at the end of our tour. Right now we're here by